Welcome everyone to your weekly pick a card reading for Monday the 8th to Sunday the 14th of May. I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for returning. If you're new, welcome. I hope you find these messages helpful, useful in guiding you in the week ahead. And for those of you that are returning, thank you so much. Thank you. You're the reason why I do this. You're the reason why I'm here. You're the reason why I have the opportunity to do what I love. So thank you with all my heart. Thank you. Let's get started. Okay everyone, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3 and pole number 4. For poles number 1 and 2, we have the mookaite, so just the different coloured mookites. We have the zebra agate for pole number 3, and we have the snake skin jasper for pole number 4. I'll just put that in a way that you might be able to see that. So my friends, as usual, just select a pile that you feel drawn to, that you feel called to, a pile that just a pile that you keep looking at, my friends. Whether you're drawn to the crystals or the pile numbers, doesn't matter. Just know that your intuition is guiding you to the pile that is right for you. Feel free to pause the video if you need a bit more time. And if you feel drawn to select more than one pile, please feel free, go ahead and select as many piles as you feel called to. I'm sure you will hold on to a message from each pile that you choose that will be right for you. Let's get started. Hello pile number 1, welcome to your weekly pick a card reading. Now I'm not sure if you noticed, but at the end of the pile selection section of the video, my other candle it burnt out, so I've changed the configuration a little bit. Let's see what, actually I feel drawn to do it this way. Let's see what energies surround you. So we have the tarot, we have the Moonology, and we have your overall energy. Isn't that interesting? I felt called to just move that up a bit. There we go. I felt called to do it around this way, and I'm just seeing Olympus return. Olympus returns. So let's have a look. I feel straight off the bat, pole number 1, I feel that this week is going to be a very fated week for you. For those of you that have gone, oh, I wonder what that means. It's an energy of, I just don't feel like you're going to have a lot of control this week. And it's not in the sense that you're going to lose control. It's in the sense that it's fated this week in some way, shape or form has its own agenda, if you like. That's really interesting. It's not so much, pole number 1, that you're along for the ride. It's just that the energies surrounding you are so strong that you're actually going to feel like it's you doing this. We all have free choice, absolutely. And I feel this week probably has some quite deep and meaningful meaning to you. And that's probably where you'll get the feeling that you're running the show this week. But for some reason, it's important for you to know that you're actually not. So leave me a comment. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out for you, pole number 1. So there's a sense of just a fated week for you this week, and I feel it's in a way that fulfills you, or in a way that brings about something that I think you've hoped for but probably haven't dared to dream, or you've dreamt about it but you haven't taken any steps towards it. You haven't probably dared to hope it into being, if you like. And I just feel, so this is your overall energy for the week, and I feel the cards work together. Sometimes I feel the overall energy starts at this and then it mutates or transforms into this, or it's the way it moves from one into the other, or things like that. But this week in your reading, pole number 1, I really feel that these energies are working together and that they permeate your whole week. We have Olympus and we have return. And there's a sense here that the gods want you to return to yourself. Spirit wants you to return to you. There's a sense that, I don't know if some of you are going home, whatever home means to you. Home might not be the place you were born. Home might not be where your family is. Home might be where you feel at peace, at ease. Some of you, it can just be returning home to you, to your authentic self. But with this Olympus, you know, Olympus is like the place of the gods, if you like. And because of that, I'm really feeling this return is to a place. Actually, it could be to people as well. So you could be returning to a place. You could be returning to people. But there's a sense of home. There's a sense of belonging. Thank you, Spirit. I just got, for some of you, this return is, we all have our different beliefs and our different way of interpreting what precedes us, you know, before we are born and after we die. You know, what is that? And you know, it's just what's true for us. And you know, we're linked as souls. We've had past lives with other souls. So this return could be finding those soul connections that you had in a previous life, but that you've never met them in this lifetime. So this is returning to those connections from long ago, but as new humans, if you like, as new people. But this return if that's the case for you, pole number one, if it's a new place that you haven't seen before or new people that you don't yet know, you'll still feel like you're returning. You'll feel like you're home. You'll feel like, I just go, oh, this is what I've been searching for. And I feel this will enable you to set down roots. There's something, I was going to say there's something larger than life here, but then Spirit corrected me because it can be misleading for you and think that this is going to be some huge thing, which for some of you it will be, but for others it will be actually quite mundane, but it will just have so much meaning to you as an individual. But what I mean, what I'm trying to say is, it's the universe that has guided you there. It's synchronicities that got you there, that if you trace back, you'll just absolutely be gobsmacked. It's almost like suddenly you're there and you're like, oh wow, I'm here. Oh, it's that kind of, I don't feel that you've been pushing or striving to get there or to meet the people you're going to meet, or however this works out for you, pole number one. I'm getting so many messages, so many visual messages, that it's hard for me to give you all the examples, but basically that's Spirit showing me that this is going to play out differently for all of you. But, oh, thank you, Spirit. So, but basically the common denominator for all of you is that you'll be coming to a place of stability. And that doesn't have to just be a physical place. It can just be a place in you. So you're coming to stability. You're coming to, I'm getting the feeling of dropping your bags and resting for a bit. So it's going to be a time where you can just breathe out. And this is fated. This is, the universe has been guiding you here. Your higher self has been guiding you here. And on some level, you know that, pole number one, because you've taken all the options. You've taken all the roads that are bringing you here. And there's this sense of well-being that comes with that, that is unmeasurable. You're going to feel so welcomed. And that doesn't mean that there'll be other people welcoming you, not necessarily. But because this has so much meaning to you, and just getting the image of a warm hug. So whatever this is for you, pole number one, it gives you that same comfort as a warm hug. And I really feel that you really need to hear this, pole number one. I really feel that if somebody listened to this and this wasn't the pole for them, they'll be shaking their head going, I don't know what she's talking about. But for you that have selected this pile, I know that you know what I mean. I know that you know there's almost been a quiet longing in you that gets answered. And that's really beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. And then we have the two oracles. We have the Moonology. Don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo, and have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon. And I'm finding that even these two cards match the overall energies. I'm just seeing the moon, like Leo is ruled by the sun. And I just feel Olympus is like the sun, you know, the gods. And then have faith in your dreams. I'm just seeing the purple reflected with the purple. So I feel the cards have a link here. And don't let pride get in your way is linked with Olympus. I think there's a sense that if you can acknowledge that this week is fated for you and just let go of the reins, just go with it and just trust with all your heart. And I know I say that so often in my readings, to trust. And I know, I know, believe me when I tell you, I know how hard it is to trust. But if you are open and if you keep reminding yourself, you'll be amazed at how the universe shows you little moments, instances, situations where you trusted and the outcome of it. I've had so many of those in my last 6 months. I mean, I've had so many of them over the last few years, but in the last 6 months, they've been so obvious. And, you know, every time I feel doubt welling up in me, I have to kind of, you know, say, oh my gosh, Christelle, what will it take for you to trust? No, trust. We're allowed to be scared. Of course we're allowed to be scared. But when we open ourselves to trust, when we remind ourselves, oh, I'm afraid, I'm not in a trusting place when I'm afraid. I'm still allowed to be afraid, but I need to open myself to trust. Gosh, miracles happen. This kind of fated week happens. Have faith in your dreams, pole number 1. If you literally this week, pole number 1, if this is the only message that you retain, is please get out of your own way. Allow the universe to guide you, because this is to a dream fulfilled. And Spirit just said to me, it may not look 100% as you would have imagined it, but in the coming weeks after this week, you'll realize how it is completely your dream fulfilled, probably better than you ever could have hoped for, or ever better than you could have imagined it for yourself, better than you hoped. Sorry, I'm trying to say is better than you ever could have hoped for. And look at your tarot. You've got the 5 of Swords, the Hermit, and the Queen of Swords. You know, and this is very much your mind. very much your mind. And for me, you know, the Hermit is also, you know, it's almost like sometimes mind over matter. Sometimes it's just, you know, my mind's telling me I'm afraid, but you know what? All I need to take is just one tiny step, and I have enough light to actually see that next tiny step. I don't need to take a leap. So this week, your mind, pole number 1, may get in the way for you. It may tell you, don't be ridiculous, this is not possible. Or it may make you play safe when you shouldn't. You know, maybe you need confidence this week, and your mind might be saying, oh, I'm just going to lie low, when no, you need to put yourself out there. Or it could be the other way around, or this has so many different ways of playing out. But basically, with the 5 of Swords in your reading, pole number 1, I'm really seeing it as in, actually, I'm going to read these two together. Thank you, Spirit. So the minor arcana is the part that we play in the co-creation with Spirit, and the major arcana is the part that Spirit plays. And so here we have both. And Spirit needs you to embrace the Hermit energy. And I feel that you're going to probably feel more inclined to embrace this 5 of Swords, which is really it's in this reading, it's you pushing. It's you seeing, like I'm just seeing this person pushing these two to the point where they give up. And I feel that, I don't feel really in this reading that you're going to be doing that to others, but I feel like you're going to be doing that to you. I feel there might be times where you think, oh, don't be so stupid, just do this or just do that, or you'll get frustrated with yourself because your higher self is calling you to go slow, to let go of the reins, to be okay with not being in control and with not knowing all the answers. And you're going to fight that a little bit. Your ego will fight that a little bit, because it's thinking, oh, it seems to, I've noticed even in my life, a lot of things seem to come back, always seem to come back to trust. And it can be linked with pretty much however we feel, because fear is a lack of trust. You know, anger is a lack of trust. Anger is a lack of knowing that things will turn out our way, because we've tried to take control. So there's a sense here of letting go, because you've got the Queen of Swords, and I feel that these two energies, and I'm going to say for this instance, so you get a really good picture, this is your lower vibrating self and this is your higher vibrating self. This is your human self and this is your soul. And the tug of war here that could occur, I believe it's just to show you how we limit ourselves. Not only, sorry, as I'm saying that, Spirit's saying it's not just how we limit ourselves, it's how we limit our possibilities. The Queen of Swords, you know, your swords is linked to your intellect, knowledge, wisdom. Sometimes I see it as intuition as well. It's all about the mind. And the queens for me are that real feminine energy, that receptive energy. And she couldn't be more receptive with her hand out, held up. You know, and what I find interesting as well is your left hand receives and your right hand gives. That's the exchange of energy, and that's how the energy flows through us. And she's got her left hand held high, and she's got the sword in her right hand. She's receiving wisdom, and with that, she gives back knowledge. She knows that she doesn't know everything. So she waits to receive the information that she needs in order to make informed decisions. I'm really drawn to her hands this time round, and I just feel she'll receive the information that she needs in order to cut away what she doesn't. And with your right hand, that's the energy you give. So that'll be severing ties with things that you're attached to. Energy that you've been giving away in areas or to people, to places, to situations that don't warrant it, that they won't actually move you forward. It's really interesting, pole number one, because I feel the tarot here in your reading is kind of like a reminder of how we function with very different energies. We function with our soul, which is limitless, and we function with our physical bodies and our mental minds, which are limited. And there's a sense of the two can play harmoniously together, or they can really fight each other. And I feel that this week you're going to see how balancing them, allowing them to coexist without one being more dominant than the other, because, you know, we do, Spirit's asked me to explain this. The question I felt come through was, well, surely our soul, you know, our soul being more dominant than our body or our mind is probably a good thing. But it's the true balance that is the best, because we have to acknowledge we are a physical body and a mental mind. And when we don't, that's when our bodies can come out of alignment, or we can see the lack in the organic part of ourselves so much that we don't want it anymore. We don't want to be part of that anymore. We just want the limitlessness of our souls. That causes a rift in us, and that's not healthy either. So we can't disconnect from one in favor of the other. And I feel this week for your pole number one, you're going to see that. I feel, and this week is fated. It is a beautiful, beautiful week. And there is this little bit of heaviness that I feel in it, but How heavy that is, you get to decide, pole number 1. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light, blessings, pole number 1. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. Leave me a comment to say how this has panned out. What was this fated week all about for you? Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 2. Welcome to your weekly reading. Now, you've probably noticed I've had to change my little display around because one of my candles burnt out. So I thought, oh, well, I don't want to leave it there not lit. So I've just changed a few things around. So let's have a look this week. We have the tarot. We have the Moonology cards, all as additional insights into what's going on this week for you, pole number 2. And then we have your overall energy. Oh, I like this. Past and freedom. It's funny, pole number 2, because I felt really drawn to use the Moonology again. I generally leave it for the moon, the full moon and the new moon readings, but I felt that this full moon that we had on the 5th or the 6th, depending on where you are in the world, was so potent that I felt really called to use these moon cards again. I just feel that the energies at that full moon really shifted a lot for a lot of us, maybe all of us. And look at your overall energies, past and freedom. There's a sense here. I just feel like she's moving into the future. She's ready to leave the past behind. And there's a sense of, I'm kind of feeling like this portal is one way. Because there's a sense of, when you leave this place in time, you can never return. And we know that. We return to the past in our mind. We can't physically return to the past. We can just think about it and give it energy in that sense. But the way that I'm feeling it is not even like in the way that you can't go back in time. It's almost like the place and circumstance, the person that you are, that you're moving on from, you won't revisit. There's a sense of finality here that I feel really strongly. And it leads you to great freedom, because it leads you to freedom to choose again. Because I feel that the past that you're leaving behind, and it can just be emotionally, it can be people, situations, places, but the past that you're leaving behind, there's an aspect of yourself that you're leaving behind with it. And there is a lightness and a freedom that comes from that is palatable. Not only do you feel it, but you embody it. Literally, you feel like you've been let out of a cage and you've got wings to fly. Now, my friends, we should never underestimate the impact of letting go of our baggage. It's freeing in a way that is a little bit undescribable. It opens your mind, it opens your heart, it opens doors for you. Because often the door's probably been open for a while, yet we are not ready to walk through it. I feel this is the same person. There's this light where the door is open. And I don't feel in this reading that it's are you going to walk through it or not? You definitely are. There is something that is of major importance that you are releasing, and that will be different for all of you, but it will have a big impact in your life. Now, be very interested to see pole number 2, how this works in with the pick a card for the full moon. If you picked a card, if you picked a pile, if you've watched the video, I'd be very interested to see how these energies play out, how they might follow each other, how they might play together. So if you haven't watched the full moon reading, even though now the full moon is past, I'd still go back and pick a pile, because I feel that has significance in your reading. And I don't feel the walking away is going to be that difficult. I really feel, pole number 2, that mentally you've been walking away for quite a while, but you just haven't been able to bring yourself to just do it. And sometimes that's, mentally we're preparing ourselves. We know we'll eventually let go, but it's almost like we have to prepare ourselves. We have to do it little by little in our mind, and then that enables us to walk through the door in our real life. And sometimes all we're doing, is sometimes we're not walking away from people or places. It could be something that happened in our childhood that we're letting go of, or in past lives that we're letting go of. But it has significance, pole number 2. We have you are good enough, full moon in Virgo, and you have balance, spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. And again, look at this blue-green energy. They're crossed over. And I love that, because we can look at the blue energy as communication and as emotions and things like that, and the green can be very earthly, can't it? Very grounded kind of energy. So there is a real throat and heart chakra here. You're good enough, pole number 2, and balance your spirituality and practicality. There's a gentleness with these 2 cards that I really love in your reading. There's a sense of balancing energies. There's a sense of speaking what's in your heart, being you. I feel that, I mean, this is definitely pole number 2, a longer journey than just a week. But I feel something this week really propels you forward. I'm wondering if it's this door opening to freedom. I'm wondering if it's this really releasing and the freedom that really happens this week, this sense of expansion in you, no longer being restricted by your past, and really opening up to your full potential. And there's a sense here that the love that you gain for yourself is a love then that you can give to the world. The confidence that you have in yourself enables you then to be of service to the world. You know, when we hold back, there's all those things that we don't say. And we don't know how saying what bubbles up in us could help somebody. We're not privy to that. So when we hold back, we don't know how that impacts, how that changes things. And I'm really feeling that really quite strongly in your reading, pole number 2. There's this sense that being you is what the world needs right now. And when I say the world, it could be your family, your partner, your colleagues, your community, your neighbors, your friends. It could be you could have a YouTube channel where being you reaches, you know, a lot more people. So to what extent, that depends on what you're doing. But there is a sense of this uniquely being you is so important at this time. So important. I find the tarot really interesting because it's almost, I love the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups together. I'm going to start there and then we'll come back to the Ten of Wands. But this is very much your heart chakra and your throat chakra. Your swords is your mind, it's your communication, it's messages. And it's almost saying, align your mind and your heart and the words that you speak, what you bring to the table, improves tenfold. There's an idea brewing in you, pole number 2. This freedom opens you up to aspects of yourself that you probably didn't know. Spirit's telling me you did know, but you never tapped into. And there's a sense here with the Knight of Cups, you can move forward and offer that now to the world. And I find it really interesting how the Page of Swords is looking back at the Ten of Wands. Because there's a sense here of the burdens of the past no longer hold you back. This person is back broken with burdens. Look at this person. Back is as strong as anything, riding a horse, carrying a cup. These two energies couldn't look more different. They feel different. And there's this sense that your future, pole number 2, is much lighter, much easier, and definitely more heartfelt. And this is what you're leaving behind in your past. It's almost like these 3 cards are your past, present, and future. You're here now. The pages, and they're young. This Page of Swords has just accepted the Ace of Swords and is trying to decide, right, okay, then what do I need to do? What do I need to learn? Do I need to study? How do I move forward with this? It's very, very new energy. And the Knight is the energy that takes action, that moves it forward, takes the steps to achieve this goal, idea, this dream, whatever the Ace of Swords was for that person. And you move forward light and filled with love. The offering of the cup is the offering of fulfillment. It's the offering of love. So it can be romantic, but it's also doing what you love, and that being on offer, that being what you give to the world, doing what you do, and being so fulfilled by it that energy spills over onto others. So I really feel for you, pole number 2, that it's really, you're turning a page this week. You're turning a page from difficulty and struggle, definitely carrying burdens, definitely, to moving towards energy, situations, people, places, jobs that have a much lighter, a more easy kind of flow to them. You won't have to work so much to achieve more than what you did here. And there's this sense, your reading, pole number 2, is probably, is probably going to be very quick, because the energies are so decisive and there's not a lot of different ways it's going to play out for all of you. But there is a sense of dropping the burdens of your past and moving forward to just so much more, and so much more freedom. And what's it going to take? It's going to take confidence, and it's going to take balancing your energies out, bringing the practicality of what is necessary to function in this 3D world as a physical body, and bringing into that the equation of our spirituality. So some of you might be blending the 2 in a job, or just in your overall life, and it really changes a lot for you. I think this Page of Swords for a lot of you is an idea. There's an idea or a communication, a message, an email, something that comes to you, and that's what opens the door. I love how this card is right in the middle of this reading, and it's kind of like almost, surrounded, it's cupped by the rest, and it's the past to the future, and it changes so much. But I feel that before this communication comes in, or before this idea comes in, you'll be letting go of so much, my friends, absolutely so much. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love and light and blessings, pole number 2. Have a wonderful week. I think that's a given anyway. I can't wait to see you fly. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome to your reading. Now you've probably noticed I've changed my display a little bit. So one of my candles, it finished, so it blew out at the end of the card selection, the pole selection, so I've just moved it away and reorganized things. Let's have a look at your cards for this week. My lovely pole number 3. So we've got the Moonology cards and the Tarot as additional information. We've got Rebirth and we've got Beyond Fear. Like I was telling pole number 2, I was so drawn to use my Moonology cards because I feel the energies from the full moon that we had on the 5th or 6th, depending on where you are in the world. Just the energy was so potent, and I am not surprised by this card because that full moon in Scorpio, I actually think I mentioned it in the introduction. It's like a rebirth. It is like a reset button was pressed for the majority of us, and we get to do it again but differently. And that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing, but we get to go out there again and be different, do different. And there's this real sense of this rebirth. And I love that. Love that in your reading, especially with this Beyond Fear. So we have Rebirth and Beyond Fear, and these are your overall energies. And I feel, pole number 3, that your rebirth, it's going to eclipse a lot of fears that you've had in you, and I think that were letting you down, that blocked you, stopped you from doing a lot of things that you really would have liked to. And he's jumping out of a plane here, but that's not the type of fear I'm talking about. I really feel, pole number 3, that you really, really impacted by the full moon on the 5th or 6th, that full moon in Scorpio. I feel like it had huge effect on you. I'm being shown tears and tantrums and jumping up and down with excitement. So it's basically Spirit's way of showing me an array of emotions. So you probably felt really emotional. And there's this sense of just let that consume you, pole number 3. Let that take you over, even if it's for 5 minutes. Because this is the phoenix, and in order for the phoenix to rise, it has to burn. And it's just symbolic. But there's a sense of walking through the fire for us is literally walking through the discomfort, walking through the pain, walking through the waterfall of emotion. And that's how we change. We don't change by suppressing it. We change by allowing it in a safe, obviously you're not going to go into the middle of a shopping centre and start screaming your head off. Well, I hope not. But in a safe environment, an environment that is conducive to you being able to feel. There doesn't have to be big gestures. Spirit saying to me, you can cry softly. Or you don't even need to cry. Just acknowledge that that feeling wells up in you. Everybody's way of walking through things is different. And there's no judgment on how an individual needs to do that. But there's this sense that there's great importance in allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to be real, whatever that means for you right now. And then suddenly that releases you from the fears that you had. Because when we don't bottle things down, we're not always trying to keep a lid on those things. So you can imagine when we push things down, we've got to keep that lid on tight, or every time we're triggered, that lid kind of starts to rattle. So we've got to hold it down. That takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of life force energy. It takes time too. And that's not how we change. It's actually in releasing that, allowing things to come up and go, right, okay, wow, that's coming up. I thought I dealt with that. Okay, I haven't. Okay, let's go through it again. Because that's one thing that I learned that I was really, really shocked about, is things that I thought I had dealt with years and years ago. I'm talking, 10 plus years ago, kept coming back up for me along with the new stuff. And the new stuff, I realized, was there as a kind of like a catalyst to bring the old stuff up that I hadn't quite dealt with. Because sometimes things hurt us so much, or sometimes things have such an impact on us that we don't even realize. So we think, oh yeah, I've gotten over that. I don't think about that person anymore. I've gotten over that. And that person you might have gotten over, but the situation that came with that person, or with that drama or problem or whatever it was, that can be buried. So you might have forgiven the person, you might have forgiven yourself, but every time a situation similar to the one you've just been through comes up, it shows you how that, or what in that, you haven't dealt with yet. And that's what I'm really feeling in your reading, pole number 3. I'm really feeling this rebirth, and this beyond fear is you just clearing out the clutter. And I'm not talking about clutter in your cupboards, though funnily enough, Spirit just started laughing and he said that's often how it starts. We clear out the clutter in our life, in our wardrobes, in our cupboards, in our sheds, in our garages, in our spare rooms. And as we purge things, material things, it enables us to create space to bring up the things that we need to purge that are inside us. So if this starts as decluttering, you know you're on your journey. Or maybe pole number 3, you've been decluttering and now you're ready to go deeper than that. But this week is going to be a beautiful week for you. I know that it sounds a bit heavy with that allowing energy to come up, allow yourself to feel what you feel, but the energies this week I feel are just so beautiful to do that. And every time you do, there's just, it's almost like your fears get lighter. And you realize how I want to say small they were, but I don't want to say that in a way that in a way that make you feel bad for having them. Not at all. No, there's no judgment here, my friends. Not at all. But in a way that you will see how they've held you back and how they really didn't, you know, when you shone a light on them, they didn't really hold up. They weren't fears that were likely to happen. They were fears that kind of snowballed. I'm sure you know what I mean, pole number 3. But this rebirth to beyond fears, this sense of freedom that it will bring you, is massive. It's huge, pole number 3. I think where you are right now, I don't think you can understand to what level that will be. And I'm going to come down to the tarot now. I'll come back to the Moonology in just a minute, because I was just saying you just won't be able to believe how big a change this is, how different you will feel. And I'm just seeing this as like the stepping up into your personal power. The 7 of Swords. Now, this is like a camp, if you like. So I'd imagine there's soldiers here, and the Emperor's way up on his throne, if you like. So if we were going to look at a hierarchy, he is lower than the Emperor, definitely, 100%. And there's this sense that in your vulnerable state, so the Emperor is you sitting in your personal power, this 7 of Swords is like you haven't quite understood your self-worth yet. You haven't quite accessed it. You haven't quite seen your full potential. But this 7 of Swords is, you know that it's there, even though you don't know how to tap into it yet. This 7 of Swords is being cluey. It's seeing opportunities in situations. It's not following everybody else. They're all over here having a good old discussion, and you know, you're just going, well, I'm going to be over here doing my own thing. And if they're not interested in the opportunities that are available, well, I'm going to take what suits me. I'm not taking it all because some of the options are not for me, but I'll take what's right for me. I never see the 7 of Swords as sneaky, cheating. I just never see it like that, because the colors in it are too positive. I'm very drawn to colors. And yellow is the color of joy. It's the color of the sun. So with such a yellow sky, it's too illuminated for sneakiness to happen. So this card for me is always seeing the potential in something and not worrying if others don't. It doesn't matter. You're not taking away what is not rightfully yours, because if they were interested, they would be right here with you, taking their share. This person is not taking everything. It's taking what it believes is right for him or her. It's not at the expense of anybody either. This is the 7 of Swords for me is really marching to the beat of your own drum. And I feel that's where this starts for you, pole number 3. This sense of, as this rebirth is happening, as you find yourself changing and evolving, you see your strengths and you start to tap into them. You see potential around you. You see potential that's meant for you. And that leads you to the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is, you know, achieving goals. Like, she's very well dressed. She's abundant. And it's a very independent card. You know, it's where you can provide for you. Now, if you're not on your own, you can provide for your family or your dependents if you have any. But this is a sense that you stand on your own 2 feet as you. This is being true to you. This Nine of Pentacles doesn't answer to anybody. This Nine of Pentacles doesn't change who she is in order to be successful. She is who she is, and that makes her successful. And look at this yellow. The sun is shining for you, pole number 3. It's shining to show you the way. I feel that if you've been a bit foggy, a little bit lacking confidence, lacking direction, feeling confused, I feel this week that changes in a very, very big way. Very big way. And you've got the Emperor. You're sitting in your personal power. This is you being you being true to you. This is all the mountains you've had to climb in the past, all the obstacles, all the challenges have brought you to this rebirth, to this awakening. Look at these colors. This rebirth brings your authentic self to the forefront. And it's always been there, pole number 3, but you just didn't see it because it was buried under a lot of, you know, the phoenix burns away all that is not necessary. So this rebirth, this letting go of what was, really liberates you. Really allows you to be true to yourself. And I really feel with this Emperor, with this Nine of Pentacles, well, actually with all the tarot really, I really feel like your life is going to take a different direction. And I feel that your life is going to take a different direction because you're now functioning from a place of authenticity instead of from a place of, well, that'll make so and so happy, or that'll earn me the big bucks, or that will make me look good, or whatever the or is for you, pole number 3. But it changes, like it really has a snowball effect. It starts small and it grows and it grows. And I want to say it really permeates through your life. So I feel there will be a lot of changes in your life because I feel that you are going through such a transformation yourself. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And then we have the oracle, we have the Moonology, the oracle cards. We have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra, and we have surrender to the divine, full moon. And I feel this is what your transformation's doing. This new romantic cycle, I just feel like, pole number 3, you're just falling in love with yourself. You see your self-worth. You see your value. You see what you have to contribute. There's this, and even if you don't see yet what you can contribute, because sometimes we transform and we sit with that a bit, and this is going to be longer than a week. A transformation like this, you know, it takes a while, but I think there's going to be a big impact this week, big changes this week. And I just feel that you're just falling in love with who you are. You're like, oh gosh, I didn't realize that I was like this or like that. And it's not an ego-based thing. It's just a thing based in, I like me. And that can have a ripple effect to bring in a new romantic partner if that's what you're looking for. If not, it can just make you fall in love with things, new things coming into your life. Or it can make you fall in love more deeply with the things that are already in your life. Sometimes when we have a rebirth, a full transformation, sometimes everything doesn't leave. Sometimes they in themselves just transform. So suddenly because of your rebirth, you have a changed perspective. Suddenly your job is so much more interesting, or you're so much more grateful for it. You're so much more grateful for those other people in your life, or for where you are right now. So there's this sense of falling in love with yourself, with what's around you, with what's coming, seeing the potential. And Libra is the balance. So it's very balancing for you. It's very nurturing and stabilizing. It has you feeling sure-footed. And that's a wonderful way to feel, pole number 3. And then we've got surrender to the divine. So there'll be this sense of your transformation, and then the universe is stepping in. And you won't be afraid with what it brings you. You won't be afraid with what changes in your life. You might be. Okay, we're always going to still be a little bit fearful because we are humans. You know, we've got a you know, inherently we know we have to protect this physical body, because when it dies, this lifetime, this lifeline for us is gone. So we'll always have fears, but I feel that there's a sense that your fears will be twinged with excitement. And there'll be this almost like this nervous energy, but almost in a good way. And it propels you forward, and it makes you want to keep trying, and it makes you trust. Because I feel that this transformation is leading you to trust in the divine, in the universe, at what is possible for you in your life. This reading is basically pole number 3. You're no longer living small. You're no longer a wallflower. You're stepping out and stepping up. You're allowing yourself to be seen, heard, acknowledged, loved. And the reason this has come about is because that's what you're doing for you. Suddenly you love you. You see the potential in you. You fall in love with yourself again. You think you're amazing. And that's amazing. You know, if we love ourselves unconditionally, then we're in a position to love others unconditionally. But we allow ourselves to make mistakes because we give things a go And when we give things a go, sometimes we're going to get it wrong. But when you love yourself unconditionally, it doesn't matter. You just kind of dust yourself off and go, oh, okay then, well, that didn't work. Well, what can I do now? Instead of spending the next 6 months beating yourself up about it, you can let it go. You can move on. You can stretch yourself to achieve something else because you operate from beyond your fears. You operate from a place of knowing you've got stability, you're grounded. You can achieve things. You've got this. There's this confidence in this reading. And if you're not feeling confident yet, pole number 3, it won't be long. It really won't be long, because I feel that the confidence is coming with this rebirth, and that's what triggers the rest. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 3. What a reading. Oh, just open yourself up, my friends, and allow. Just allow. And remember how magnificent you are. Take good care of yourself, sending you love, light, and blessings. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Welcome, welcome, my friends, to your weekly pick-a-card reading. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. Now, as you might have noticed, I've changed a little bit my display because one of the candles finished. So I thought rather than leave it there unlit, I thought I'll just move things around again. Wow, nice energies. There is a real synchronicity with these messages this week, my friends. If you're drawn to any of the other poles, do go watch them, because they seem to have a little bit the same kind of, they're different, but they seem to have a little bit of the same energies in them. So we have the overall energy with future and descend. We have the Moonology as additional information with work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio, and emotions are running high, supermoon. And then we have the Tarot, again with additional information. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and Temperance. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so this overall energy, my friends, is quite interesting, because I feel the overall energy of future. In order to access your future, pole number 4, you will need to descend into your past. Oh, excuse me. That's my elbow rubbing on the table, by the way. Future and descend. We are being asked to heal ourselves, to heal our past, and in healing our past, detaching from it, letting go of all the ties and all the burdens, all the hurts. That's how we access our future. Your future is beckoning you, pole number 4. Your future is calling you. It's ready. But there's this descend that has to happen first. I'm really drawn to this 9. It's going to bring about endings. Numerology, the 9s is all about the culmination, the completion of cycles. Spirit here is saying you need to complete. You need to tie off loose ends. Your future's here. I feel that your future started. This 4, I'm actually not seeing it like the numerology 4 or the tarot 4. I'm actually seeing it like April. And I'm just seeing in April, I feel that you got maybe a glimpse of your future, maybe of things changing, how you are changing. But there's things holding you back. You need to go and let go of things. You need to heal. Now I'm feeling an energy of a real energy of, I don't want to. I just want to go into the future. I just want to be there. A real sense of, oh, really? Almost like I can't be bothered. But if you dig a little bit deeper, it's not that you can't be bothered. It's that I'm just seeing like a ball of string or a ball of string, but there's so many different threads all rolled into this ball, and it's quite a tangled mess. And I feel like it's almost like where you just don't know which thread to pull on first, which one is going to unravel the most, which one is like, how do I unravel this ball? Which one do I start with? So there's this sense of overwhelm that is actually really quite strong here, pole number 4. And Spirit's just saying, one at a time, it doesn't matter. And I feel with the Temperance card here, Spirit will show you. You are so not in this alone. And I feel that it's your higher self that is instigating this. It's your higher self that is saying to you, do you know what? You're ready now. You're in a place where you can do this. You're in a space, in a mindset. Maybe you've got a bit more time on your hands, or you're just feeling a little bit more open. But there's a time for seeking what it is that you're still tied to. And this descend, I'm seeing it as descend into your past. It's heal what you haven't healed. Now Spirit's just said to me, how do you do that? And He's just said that to me to show me that's probably what a lot of you are asking. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how. Now, for some of you, I do believe that doing things like Reiki, seeing a counselor, speaking to people, having energy healing, having a massage, getting a tarot reading done. I feel that all these things, a mix of them, or just one thing that really calls you, will actually, that's what starts to unravel something in you. And that unraveling is the descent. It's that descent into what doesn't serve you. And I love how this descent is not depicted as dark and foreboding. It's light. It's like there's like and you're not going to be able to see, but they're like tiny little stars. It's beautiful. Because this is the single most important thing that you can do for yourself. And that first step in is the hardest. It's not a pleasant thing to do, but as you move forward with it, it changes your life. And this future card to me looks so magical. just feel like there's so much energy and magic in the air. And I feel that you cannot even possibly imagine the future in front of you from where you are standing right now. You can't imagine this. And that's because when we start to really let go of things, not suppressing them, bringing them up and letting them go, when we work through things, they no longer have a hold of us. They no longer, we're not burdened by them. So we're lighter and freer. We can move more easily. We can take leaps of faith because we don't have these baggages chained to our ankles that kind of, we're going to think we're going to leap and we'll probably stumble and fall rather than take this great leap. Because those baggages, they trip us over. And they're generally filled with fear, disappointments, resentments, things that didn't go according to plan. And instead of going, oh, okay, well, that just shows me how not to do it, we take it on board and we go, oh my gosh, I failed. I did something wrong, I'm bad. And there's a sense here that, no, not at all, not at all. And look at your Moonology cards. You've got work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio, and you've got emotions are running high, super moon. Now, I feel that these two cards are linked and these two cards are linked. This descend is to help you figure out your fears, what holds you back. Spirit doesn't want us to be held back anymore. Spirit wants our emotions to run, our dreams to skyrocket, to feel limitless in some aspects. And this working through your fears will have outcomes that you never could have imagined, pole number 4. Never could have imagined. And you are just going to be on such a high. And I really feel, because I get the feeling with Temperance here, as I mentioned earlier, Spirit is here guiding and helping you. Look, I know this is coming up probably a bit blue on the camera, but this is actually quite purple on the card. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to show you, but it's actually more purple than blue. And then this is very purple again. And look at the purpley colors in here. And I just feel that's your highest chakra. That's your crown chakra. That's Spirit. And Spirit is here because Spirit doesn't want your fears to hold you back. Spirit doesn't want your future to be limited by what happened to you in the past, things that didn't work out in the past, and then now you're possibly not going to give things a go because it's like, oh well, I failed last time, I'll probably fail again, I don't want to put myself out there. Spirit wants you to, pole number 4, it wants you to feel excited about life. And how do you do that? You work through these fears. You work, and our fears our fears are taught. Babies are born fearless. Gosh, could you imagine if a baby cried every time you picked it up because it thought you were going to drop it? It's a learned, fears are learned this lifetime, past lifetimes. And our fears they're generated from what happened in the past. If as a child we got bitten bitten by a dog, there's a good chance we carry that fear of dogs with us. If every time we sang, people laughed, we're going to have a fear of singing, of people hearing us sing. You know, if people laughed at us, maybe we've got a fear of people laughing at us, so then we really censor what we say so that it doesn't come out strange, so that people can laugh at us. But our fears are all learned, so they can be unlearned. Now, thank you, Spirit. Spirit's actually saying to me the fears that we are talking about here. So we have fears that are healthy fears, that stop us from, you know, damaging our human body. So, you know, having a healthy fear of falling off a cliff, or of a deadly snake, or, you know, things like that. I'm not talking about that kind of fear, the fear of jumping out of an aeroplane. I'm talking about the fears of that we're taught, the fears of being ridiculed, being embarrassed, you know, being made fun of, the fears of, I've never had a relationship, that all my relationships ended, so I'm no good at relationships, so now I'm not even going to give them a go. They're the fears that hinder our process in life. They're the fears that stop us from moving forward, from being open and being authentic. And Spirit doesn't want that for us. I mean, it never has, but I think as a collective, more so than ever, I feel that the collective is really relearning how to be whole. And that starts with making ourselves as an individual whole again. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. And I love her in your reading along with Temperance, because she brings this calm, nurturing, gentle energy, compassionate. She is so abundant. She is so grounded. She's so kind. And she just never struggles. She just knows that there is no need to. What is meant for her will find her. She doesn't have to strive or pretend or fight to be something that she's not. She's who she is. And she's not as flamboyant maybe as the Queen of Wands, with all her passion and her fire. But she doesn't compete. She's this gentle energy. And I love this in your reading, because I feel that this is not who you are going to become, pole number 4, because we each have our own energies that are authentic to us. But I feel that this is Spirit's way of showing me that this is how your descend will feel if you allow it. There is a sense of, when you start to heal, when you start the process, pole number 4, it's going to feel warm. It's going to feel kind and compassionate. And I feel that the people that you're probably going to discuss this with, or seek help with, or the people that just happen to be around you at this particular point in time, they're going to have that gentle, nurturing energy about them. So there is a sense of peace, tranquility, calmness. And just trust that what you need to heal will heal. What you need to receive, you'll receive. The queens are a real feminine receptive energy. So know that what needs to be healed will be, what needs to be healed in you will be healed. And you'll receive what you need in order to achieve that. You just have to be open for it. And then you've got this Page of Wands. And the page has accepted the Ace of Wands. He's holding the Ace of Wands and he's looking at it going, right, well, I see the potential in this. Because it's the wands, I can feel the passion and the excitement. How do I go about this? So it's this young, curious energy. And I feel that that's how you're healing. That's how your releasing will happen. I feel, pole number 4, there's going to be this curiosity in you. You're not going to be sitting there passing judgment on yourself or on others for that matter. And there's this sense that you're going to look at everything that comes up and you're going to be like, oh, wow, am I still carrying that? Rather than be angry or hurt by it, you're going to be like, wow. And there's going to be this sense of understanding that you no longer need to carry that. You're in a completely different space. And I'm wondering if it piques this curiosity in you, because that it's that energy that will make you deep dive even further. It'll make you look at, wow, how did I miss this before? Why am I still carrying this? How does that impact my future? How has that been impacting me now? And you're not asking those questions in a way to berate yourself. You're asking those questions in a way because you're literally curious, genuinely curious. And that's what brings about your healing. The Temperance card is here. There's this sense that you don't mind dipping your foot in the water, test the temperatures. Go, gosh, I want to look at that a little bit deeper because I want to understand. It's the curiosity in you that keeps you descending. But it's the curiosity in you that keeps this so light. It stops you from drowning in it because you're going slowly. Every step, you're curious to understand. And I'm wondering, pole number 4, if for some of you it's because that's going to be part of your calling. That's what your future brings. I'm wondering if that leads you to healing others in some form. It could lead to counseling or life coaching or any of the healing arts, but it can lead you to then advise others, to guide others. This curiosity, this needing and wanting to understand, because the path that it leads you to is your purpose. It's your calling, and it's divinely guided. 1000% pole number 4. You are divinely guided, and everything is being balanced to bring you to that. So everything is guiding you to where you need to be. All you need to do is allow, embrace if all you do this week is just channel this energy of the Queen of Pentacles, this gentle, kind, nurturing, abundant. It's a slow energy. It's calm energy. It's gentle and kind. This deep dive and this leap into your future, and this is what all this is. It's for your future. I feel like your future self is here saying, right, this is what we need. I feel for you, pole number 4, that there's something happens this week that starts you on this path, and I think it carries on from April. And I really feel, I'm just getting, gosh, I'm interested to see where you're going to be at the end of May. What you will have achieved, what you will have come to understand, because I think it's going to be really fruitful for you, but also I just keep getting the word rejoice. You will just have so much to be joyful about, to rejoice about. Oh, such a the energies surrounding your reading, pole number 4, are really beautiful, like really beautiful. I feel, because I feel the energies and they kind of go through me, and sometimes I try not to hold on to them because they're not my energy. But when the energy is this beautiful, I do like to hold on to it a little bit, because this energy is really kind. This energy is gentle. It's really beautiful, feminine, calm, really peaceful energy. And I hope that you can feel that. I hope that I'm trying to send this energy through the video so that as you listen to it, you can feel that, because that's the energy that you're bringing to the table. I'm sending you so much love, light, and blessings, my friends. Oh, so much. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye-bye.